Do you ever get caught up in your business and you realize that you are being very, very busy, you are getting a lot done, and yet in the end of the month, your P&L, your profit and loss sheet is not reflecting any of that. It seems like you haven't worked. It seems like you are again lacking money in the bank, and all those good ideas, all the business that you just sort of put in didn't pay off. Well, I have an answer to the trouble that you may be experiencing, because I think most entrepreneurs, most solo entrepreneurs, most small business owners experience this at one point or another. And this has happened to me multiple times, and I have to stay vigilant in my own team, where I have 30 plus people working with me on one of the businesses and another 10 on the other business. Because when you start working for yourself, which is already a big transition for a lot of people, because we are not used to managing ourselves, because at school and even at university, we are often trained to work for somebody else. We are trained under this industrialist education system whereby, we are taught some skills and often very dry knowledge, which empowers us to, at the very best, become specialists in any given field and pursue our career in whichever sort of lane that would be. You may be a doctor, you may be a lawyer, you may be a shoemaker, you may even be a developer. But in the end of the day, none of the schooling and most MBAs at universities and most degrees at universities do not prepare you to become an entrepreneur. And being an entrepreneur means being able to manage your own freedom, in other words, to manage your own time and to manage the time of others. Now, it's one of the hardest things to do, especially when it comes to managing yourself, but this is key. And a lot of the time, people think that business, being busy, busyness, equals productivity, equals value, equals output. And that is just not true. How many times have you sat at your laptop for hours getting nothing done, or getting bits and bobs done, but in the end, you ended up achieving nothing? So why this happens, and I'm sort of getting to the point here, how to make sure that at the end of the month you have money in the bank, having worked very hard in your business on a project, on an endeavor that you may embark on. So we go back to the same idea of having to manage your time and having to manage the time of others. If you have team, if you have VAs, if you have contractors, if you have anybody helping you. And if you don't have anybody helping you, as I say, that's managing yourself. So the first thing you need to look at and ask yourself is, am I just being busy and quote unquote productive for the sake of being busy and productive? Or is this task that I'm doing right now directly linked to a financial outcome? Is this task equals financial output, financial return? And most people think that, for example, in a business, like everything is important. Everything is equally important. And when a business is small, this is just so far away from what is true. I'll give you an example. Most people think in a small business that the most important thing for them to have is a website. So then they will go on and spend a couple of months, if not longer, building a website, spending thousands of dollars to build a website, to only realize that they're getting zero sales at the end of having built it. And why is that? Because building a site is not directly linked to financial output and financial gain. Now you may say, Darius, this is very capitalist. But if you run a business, it is capitalist, right? Like you have to make it work because you want to hire people, you want to support yourself, you want to support your family. It's important, right? So at this point, what you really need to be aware of and very, very vigilant about, that any and every task that you pick in your business has to directly correlate with the financial return. So in this case, you don't go and build a website. What you do, you may end up building out a sales page, which sells your service/product. It may be, that you are, a dental care provider. It may be that you're selling an online course. It may be that you are, teaching people knitting in one-to-one sessions on Zoom. Whichever that is, you don't build the entire website. You build that one sales page which sells one particular service at one particular price point that you're going to be selling. At the end of that page, people will be able to purchase it, will be able to take action. So in this case, building a sales page will equal financial activity. So doing a lot of other things that keep you busy in the business may sound cool, may sound productive, but in the end of the day, day, you get caught up in these little details, in the little minutia of running a business day to day. And then you get to the end of the month and you realize there's nothing in the bank. So now when I run the team of 30 people, I always ask them, especially the key leaders in the team, is this what you're doing right now the activity that is directly tied to a financial goal / outcome / return? Or is it a nice to have? Is it a nice to do? There's nothing wrong in doing something that is just a nice to have that has no direct correlation to a financial return if you have the capital, if you have the cash flow, or if you do not need the money. You may have another job, you may have a good family that is giving you money, if you're one of those lucky ones, right, to be born into wealth. But if that's not the case for the vast majority of us, we need our businesses to work. We need our businesses to make money from the get-go. So this video came from actually a memo that I sent to my team on Slack, to my key project leaders, and I said, hey, are we focusing on the wrong things? And I also identified this by looking at myself and what I did, because I would get caught up with, oh, this is a very nice thing to do. I might as well, for example, go into the product, change the product colors, or I might hire a designer to revamp our product library. Now, this is all good. It's a product maintenance and we want sort of higher quality. But is that really moving the needle at this given point? Or am I just getting busy, getting distracted in the name of productivity? What I would say avoid productivity, right? It doesn't generate anything back. It just keeps us in the illusion that I'm on this hamster wheel and I'm so busy and I'm hustling and I'm so productive, which is so not true. So to sum it up, there's one rule that you need to think about in your business. Is this what I'm doing right now tied to a direct financial return goal outcome? And if it is not, drop it and identify the next activity, the next big thing that is tied to a financial return. And what you'll see happen is that at the end of the month, when you check your bank balance, it won't be zero. And it's most likely going to be something quite nice and satisfactory. So give it a go, because it really helps.